This is a video about finding a replacement cabin air filter for a 2016 Toyota Corolla. The cabin air filter is behind the glove box in this car. If you need to know how to find and replace this filter, there are lots of videos here on YouTube, so I won't be showing how. This video is mainly about figuring out the correct part number and finding a third-party cheaper replacement. The issue with the OEM filter in my car is that it has no part numbers on it. So what I did was I went to Toyota parts website and entered my car details, and it showed three options that would fit my car, but that did not make any immediate sense to me. Trying to find the correct part number that goes into my car, I did a lot of search and research and eventually found this website, which is toyodiy.com. On this website, all that you need to do is enter the details of your car or the car's VIN number, and it will show you all of the parts that went into making your car. In our case, we would, for getting the cabin air filters part number, we would go to electrical and then heating and air conditioning cooler unit, and then look for this, which is the element air refiner. As you can see, here it shows two compatible part numbers, one being the standard and the other being just another option. So the standard is 87139070020. From further research, I found out that 87139501000 is a charcoal filter, and the third option that you see here, which is 87139YZZ82, is just a cheaper offering from Toyota to compete with third-party filters. To be on the safe side, I wanted to go with Toyota's OEM part, which would be this. But at this point, I had done so much research that I knew I did not have to go with the OEM for a cabin air filter. Unlike the engine filter, a cabin air filter is not a critical air filter. You can go with cheaper options. So what I did was to grab this part number. I went to Amazon and just put that into the search box. So I found a couple of options, one being the OEM itself at a very high price. And I found a HEPA cabin air filter from Bosch, but because it's HEPA, the airflow could be restrictive. So I was basically left with two options that were very highly reviewed, and there were a lot of comments and pictures from people who had purchased them, one of which was EP Auto, and the second one was Fram for a couple of bucks extra. This one. I battled a lot mentally between Fram and EP Auto, and eventually I went with EP Auto. One, it was priced lower. I didn't want to get too close to OEM pricing because at that point I would just go and buy the OEM filter. And two, customer images of the Fram's filter were not really encouraging. It looked like Fram had the quality seemed to have dropped recently. It didn't hold its shape as well as the OEM filter would. Now I'm actually recording this video a few weeks after I purchased the Pure Auto filter. I now realize that if I did the search slightly differently, I would see better options, more options. So let me show you. Search for cabin air filter, then click this button to filter the results based on my vehicle. It'll now show me all the filters that fit my vehicle. And as you can see, the results they're just laid out in a much better fashion. And I can also see cheaper options now, like For example, this Puroma cabin air filter seems to have good reviews as well, and it's like about $3 cheaper than EP Auto. And right away, I can tell you that there are a lot of pleats in this, which is always a good thing when it comes to a cabin air filter. So just letting you know, I might purchase this cabin air filter in the future. Just letting you know that there is a better way to search for a cabin air filter or other auto parts on Amazon. Now let's take a look at the OEM filter and compare it to the EP auto filter.
Okay, so here I have the OEM filter and the EP auto filter side by side. As you can clearly see, this is the OEM filter. It is extremely dirty. It was replaced 2 years ago when I had a service at the dealer. I think the filter did a great job. I'm so glad I didn't breathe all of this in. Here's the EP auto filter. This one has a charcoal filter layer in it, and I can see some bits of black dust inside this cover. It's in a sealed package, which is good because that means that the filter hasn't been sitting inside a warehouse and the charcoal hasn't been absorbing the odors there. So let's open this up. Okay, I've opened the EP auto filter, took it out of its packaging. So one thing that I noticed straight away is that the number of pleats in the OEM filter, there are a lot more pleats here than in the EP auto filter. Whether that affects the filtration or the airflow is something I have to see once I put this in and I drive it a little bit. In terms of dimensions, I'm happy to say that these are an exact match. Amazon's description says that the EP auto filter is 1.5 inches, but I just measured it with a tape, and I can tell you that they are 1.1 inches each, and the other two dimensions are also exactly the same. So this is a perfect fit. So charcoal filters apparently need to be replaced at least once every year because the activated charcoal stops functioning after a certain point. It just stops deodorizing the air. But I don't see any issues with that because I drive in Dallas and it gets very dusty and there's a lot of pollen in the air. So I see myself replacing this um, quite often. Um, one one thing I'm going to do before I install it is to gently tap it and get rid of any of that black dust that I see on the filter. And about the pleats, I just wanted to add that the pleats itself, they seem to be very sturdy and they seem to be made well, so I don't see any concerns with that. Um, I'm not going to show you how to install and remove the filters in this video because there are plenty of videos on YouTube to show you just that. I'll probably drop a link in the description. But one thing that I want to point out is about the installation. The OEM filter only shows you which side goes up. So you install the filter this way. Whereas with all of the aftermarket filters, they tell you which direction the airflow goes in. So the airflow actually goes from the top to the bottom. So you would install this filter exactly like that into the car. Yeah, just be sure to check that direction when you install it.